Let me take you now to Parliament, and Parliament will later today debate for approval of a motion asking the President to suspend the payment of fees by tertiary students as a COVID-19 relief package. Now, the NPP caucus yesterday objected to the motion moved by the Boko Central MP Mahama Yarga, describing it as incompetent and flawed because the President does not have the power to do that. Now, the Speaker overruled the preliminary objection but postponed a full debate to today. The first motion has asked for the suspension of the admission fees, but a new rendition read by Mr. Yarga on the floor asks for the suspension of fees generally for both new students and continuing students. Joseph Opogatwe is our man in Parliament and joins us live. Joseph, the Speaker directed the leaders of the two sides to agree on which specific fee the motion should apply before the motion itself is debated today. Do we know if any agreement has been reached?
From how we gather, Ernest, no such agreement has actually been reached. Let me quote to you the second motion that Mr. Yarga read on the floor. It's a motion that this House resolves to request the President of the Republic of Ghana to take urgent steps to suspend the payment of fees by new entrants into public tertiary institutions and fees of continuing students of those institutions for the 2020-2021 academic year as part of the COVID-19 emergency relief programs being implemented by government. So this is supposed to cover virtually all fees. In fact, on the floor, Mr. Yarga listed about 17 different fees, including the academic user facility fee, as well as tuition fee. And in his request, the indication he gave is that all of those are what he's asking that the House actually considers suspending, which the NPP side disagrees on, and the details are supposed to be fixed. But from what we've gathered, no such agreement has been reached, and the indication is that if care is not taken on the floor of the House, the rendition requesting that all fees generally be suspended is what Mr. Yarga will eventually move for.
Because there's been an amendment of the initial motion, did you get an indication from the NPP caucus that that will be an issue they would raise as preliminary before the proper debate on the floor?
The hint I'm getting from the NPP side is that they are most likely going to back the new motion and then insist that the specifics in terms of which areas should be taken off with the fees in terms of what specifically government is willing and ready to absorb will then be included. That's an amendment of a sort they may end up seeking to Mr. Yarga's motion, including requesting that there is the introduction of clauses like some fees, and then a subsequent attachment would detail those specific fees, and it will be based on that the NPP side will eventually support the motion for the necessary approval. Except that on the NDC side, the argument they're making is that the specifics on the fees that should be taken up by government is something that they think the executive should work out with Vice Chancellors Ghana and the managers of the various tertiary institutions rather than Parliament spelling out those specifics.
Joseph, stay with me. We'll come back to find out what happens when the House resumes at 2 p.m. But I want us to listen to the Honourable Member for Boko Central, Mahama Yarga.
With your leave, the new rendition of the motion will be as follows. The Speaker, by your leave and the leave of the House, Mr. Speaker, the rendition now will be that this House resolves to request the President of the Republic of Ghana to take urgent steps to suspend the payment of fees by new entrants into public tertiary education institutions and fees of continuing students of those institutions for the 2020-2021 academic year as part of the national COVID-19 relief programs being implemented by.
So that's the Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mahama Yarga, reading out the new rendition of the motion which will be debated later today. Joseph, what happens when the House resumes at 2 p.m.?
Mr. Yarga will be given the opportunity to go ahead and give out the full details of the new motion as contained. Once that is done, then the House will open for full debate. We would hear from the NPP side on it and also other NDC MPs. After that, leaders on two sides will conclude the debate. It will be put to a voice vote first. If there is an agreement on whether there is victory for the motion or otherwise, then that gets approved. If there is no such clear indication with the voice vote, then the House may go ahead and count ballots as far as the voting is concerned. And then if approval is given, then that resolution would go to the executive, which would be binding to a large extent. But if it gets rejected, then no such resolution goes to the executive.
Joseph, many thanks for bringing us the update on that important motion to be debated later today in Parliament. We'll get back to you once that debate gets underway.